So good afternoon, everyone. I am Ala, and I'm the research assistant of Professor Annie Chen, but she cannot really make it today, so that's why I'm here to present our project to you. So our project is mainly to measure the program learning outcomes for the social science students in the 4-year programs. And I'm going to talk about our aim, the questions, how we develop this whole measurements, our findings, our discussion and limitation and all that. And I was asked to keep this presentation really precise as well, so I will try. So this is going to be really brief. And if you want to know more, feel free to look for me or Professor Annie Chen or our report as well. There's much more in that. So this will be our research aim. So because we have our new 4 years undergraduate curriculum a few years ago, and also because right now, when we would like to measure the students' learning outcome in our social science program, we only rely on the graduate exit survey. So the student will fill a survey and tell you how much they believe they've learned in the past few years, and also we only rely on their grades. And so we would like to develop a more objective and empirical instruments to actually measure their learning outcome under our program. So we've developed three research questions, and then mainly referred to the key learning outcome of our program. So that's 9 key learning outcomes from our program. So we kind of summarize it and we make it to these 3 research questions. So the first one is about whether the student can apply and demonstrate their knowledge and their understanding in the social science disciplines. And the second one would be if the student can able to analyze different economic and social and political issues and phenomena from a social science perspective as well. And the third one will be if they're able to evaluate or debate arguments relating to all these issues after studying in our program. So the way that we're going to measure that, we're going to measure that in terms of oral presentations. The most important reason is because oral presentations are the way that we can evaluate all these aspects that I just mentioned really thoroughly. That's why we adopted that. And also, how we're going to do that is that we pick up 2 courses. The Making of Hong Kong, and the other course is the Junior Research Project. So we pick up these courses mainly because, first of all, the learning outcome of these courses is very consistent with the learning outcome of our whole program, our whole social science program. And also, both of them, they use oral presentation as part of the assessment. But the more important is that the students will do their Making of Hong Kong program at the first years of their study. And at the 3rd year of study, after 3 years study in our programs, they will do the Junior Research Project. So this time frame kind of gives us a way to compare it, compare their learning outcomes after 3 years in our program. So that will be our data collections process. So we started 4 years ago, actually. We spent the first 3 semesters to collect the data from the Making of Hong Kong program. And then the last 2 semesters, in 2014 to 15, to collect the data from JRP, the Junior Research Project as well. And then so after that, we make up our own rubrics to cook the presentation. And this rubrics mainly comes from we refer to other journal article that talks about how to grade a oral presentation. And of course, it also refers to our research questions. So from all the research questions, also from our learning outcomes in our program and the journal article, we come up with these 4 items or 4 variables on the rubrics. Then we're going to grade the whole oral presentation. So there will be content, analysis, delivery, and organization. So after that, we go for a very long process of organizing data, pilot testing the whole rubrics and the coding, and of course code it, and then we do the data analysis. So one thing that I would like to mention is that when we do the coding, we do not only do the quantitative one, we also do a little bit the qualitative one, so that we grade them with marks, but then we also type up the remarks that qualitatively, that what we believe they have doing good and what we believe that they can improve. So this is about our hypothesis. So it's mainly also about whether students have scored higher in these variables in JRP, so in the 3rd year of study than in the 1st year of study. So the key finding is that a lot of tables, but what you mainly concern is that we have won this data and all that after 2 tests. But then after 2 tests, it still confirmed the fact that a student has score higher, significantly higher in their 3rd years of study in JLP in terms of analysis, delivery, organization, and also the overall mean score of the whole courses in the 3rd year than in the 1st year, the Making of Hong Kong project. So we can say that they actually make progress significantly in at least these 3 areas. So yeah, so according to those findings, we can say that the research question B and C are confirmed. That means the students actually are more capable of analyzing this social issues from social science perspective, and they're also more capable of evaluating and debating arguments about these issues after studying in a program as well. So yeah, but then according to our finding 1 and 2, we'll say that the research question A is uncertain. So we are not certain if students are more capable of applying or demonstrating their knowledge, understanding in the social science discipline yet. I won't say it's refuted, because when you look at the score, they actually still have a higher means in terms of this research question, but it's not significant. So I would say we have to look into that more to actually come to a conclusion. So at the end, yeah, we'll say that because content is a part that we're not sure whether they make progress or not. So we look at the qualitative remarks, and we say that for most of the reason why they are not really achieving a very good marks in this aspect is because they couldn't really demonstrate their social science knowledge, and they couldn't really relay those information to the issues during the presentations. So the suggestion for the student would be that they can read much more about this issue from different perspectives before they put up the whole presentation. So that sounds like a really common sense kind of solution, but when we're coding and when we're looking at the presentation, what we realize that, especially with these 2 courses, because both of these courses give them a certain freedom to pick the topics that they like. The Making of Hong Kong, they can pick almost any political and business issue they would like to discuss on. For the research one, they can also pick any issue that they would like to discuss about in their own general research project, that course as well. So when the students are free to look for their topics, and it's not really strictly refer to certain things that they learn from that courses, the certain knowledge, then when they make the presentation, they kind of just sort of presenting everything or all the argument that they heard from the streets or from the newspaper, and that's it. And that's one of the main things that we see from the presentation. And they didn't really dig deeper, or they didn't really go further in a way that they actually present and demonstrate their particular knowledge in our program or in the social science perspective. So the suggestion is really common sense, but but we believe that will gonna work. Is that they have to read much more about those issues from social science perspective, instead of just any general newspaper and all that. So the other suggestion that we have for the educator is that it may help a little if we can give them a much clearer and precise explanation of what we expect them from their presentation. And we believe that it will be much easier for them to understand that if they can give like such a sample video to demonstrate that. And then we believe that maybe that will improve their research. Their presentations. So a little bit limitation on our research. One of the main limitations is that although at the beginning when we picked these 2 courses, we picked them because they're very consistent learning outcome with each other and also with our program, but then there's still some differences. For example, the course aim is quite different. The Making of Hong Kong project is more about how much they know about the social, the business issues in Hong Kong. The other one, the research project, is more about whether they can construct their own project. And also the format of the presentation is a bit different. For the Making of Hong Kong one is a group presentation. For the other one is an individual one. So we would say these differences between 2 courses may make our comparison a little bit, it could be a bit inaccurate to 100%. And the other limitation is that still we have quite a small sample size, especially considering talking about our first finding when we were looking at the students who have actually attempted both of the courses. We only find actually 25 of them in this whole data. So we say the sample size is rather small. And we do it again with dummy coding. So we have a much bigger data sample to do it. So, but then those data coping is, those data are coming from dummy coding. So that, again, may add to the possibility that maybe this code comparison cannot be 100% accurate. And that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.